So it looks like people are going to the Philippines to find love. That ain't nothing new, but today's video we're going to be reacting to is called Why I Left the USA to Find Love in the Philippines. Link to the original video is down in the description below. As always, if you like the conversations and discussions we do here on this channel, consider subscribing and following my journey to the Philippines. Let's check out what he has to say about finding love in the Philippines.
Hi guys, welcome to my guys.
This is my Filipina girlfriend, and this is not my daughter, it is her niece and one of my best friends. Today I'm going to tell you about why I left the United States and traveled all the way across the world to the Philippines in order to find my one true love.
Cow. It's a cow, guys.
By the way, today is the Friday market day, and that's when all the vendors come down and they start selling, you know, the fish and all their other products. I mean, they always sell fish here, but it's they have more than usual today. When I was younger, of course, I would date quite a bit, and I'm gonna be honest, it was somewhat difficult for me. After high school and then through my time in the Marine Corps, you know, I tried to date quite a bit, meaning I made quite an effort to get into the dating pool. And if you're, you know, an average looking guy in the US, you would understand if you've ever had a Tinder or any type of dating app.
Oh, dating apps are horrible. They're one of the worst things to ever be created. Because it takes all the worst qualities of social media and puts it into a dating app. Like, because the thing is, we're only ever gonna see the most viral algorithmic things. Like they're like, for example, if you're looking at photos of women, you're only gonna see like models all the time, for the most part, and that's going to ruin your perception of women. Same thing for if you're looking at a bunch of male models, it's going to ruin your perception of men. And so, yeah, the dating scene in America is just really, really bad. Either people overvalue themselves or they undervalue themselves. There's really no in between.
Your matching is not really ideal. What I mean is, the moment you get on these apps, you're matching with a lot of bots, so a lot of computers you're talking to, scammers and stuff like that. So it's actually like mostly that. Wow. Yeah. I was also cheated on when I was younger, by the way, when I was about 20, 21, and that scarred me a little bit. It was, you know, a first love situation where you know about that. You know, that one hurts the most, and that happened. So I became a little bit jaded when it came to women in general.
I don't blame him. I mean, most men probably would. I think a lot of people that say that getting cheated on doesn't affect them, it does. Will it affect them forever? I don't think so, but it does change who you are in some way. Like he's saying jaded. Like, he doesn't sound angry. He just sounds worn out. Does that make sense?
And my self-esteem was also really low. So I think that also had a part to play with my lack of success in finding a girlfriend. Is, you know, I'm trying to go out there and find love. And, you know, I don't even love myself. I can't, you know, I look at myself in the mirror. I don't even like what I see, etc., etc. When I was younger, I would always look at myself and think that I was like enormous, like I was a really fat person, no matter what weight I was. From when I weighed 170, 175 when I joined the Marine Corps, to even when I was weighing about 190, I thought I was extremely overweight. I didn't think I looked good.
And it's because of social media really fries our brains and our perceptions of ourselves.
And any girl that I talked to, I just thought that, wow, I'm way out of my league here, which really affected me probably in my communication, meaning I probably seemed pretty desperate when I was talking to women, and I actually kind of feel bad for them because my confidence was so low. But as I got older and I gained weight, my weight got all the way up to 235, 240, and then I looked back at my old photos. You got that? Hang on, I'll try that in a bit. That man? And I realized, wow, I think I looked pretty good. Sitting there looking at the photos on my phone, I'm weighing 235, 240, reminiscing about my past, looking at old photos, and I thought, wow, why was my confidence so low there? Because I think I looked pretty good in that. I remember at the time,
honestly, I low-key felt the same way. I think a lot of men feel this way, and it's because of dating apps, social media. Like it literally, like obviously this guy is saying that he lost a lot of self-confidence because he was cheated on, but I think it's much more than that. I think it's the constant bombardment of you're not good enough no matter what you do, and then women thinking that you're not good enough unless you make a bunch of money. It's just not a good combination for your mental health, I think.
I thought that I was like really, really fat.
I do have 3 hands, Tinker. I do have 3 hands, guys.
Okay, so here's the fruit drink. Yeah.
That looks good.
It's got bananas, watermelon, milk, and probably sugar mixed in there too. It's a good one. This is Bohol, by the way, and we're in the province, and I'm currently living with Sheila and her family. I don't have a job right now. My only job is to be unemployed and make YouTube videos. Yeah, so when I look in the mirror, I'm always gonna have a negative opinion on the way that I look, but I probably look way better than I think I do. And I just started to trust that. And then over time, my confidence started to rise. As I'm making these realizations, I have a full-time job as a crane salesman in the US. My friend, Peter, who I served with in the Marine Corps, reaches out to me and asks me if I want to go visit the Philippines. And this would have been about year 2022.
Interesting. That's actually kind of crazy that it was like a friend that said, come to the Philippines. It's almost like a movie if you think about it.
I agree to go to the Philippines, and I booked my ticket months and months in advance. I go on the good old Tinder, and I set my location here to the Philippines. And boy, let me tell you what. I now understood what it felt like to be an average woman in the United States on Tinder. This is a fried banana.
That looks good. Look at the glaze on that. Looks great.
I mean, just within a few days of setting my location to the Philippines, I had like hundreds of matches. And all of these women, by the way, that I'm matching with are beautiful. Why are these women matching with me? Is it because I'm that good looking? Is it because they think I have money? I don't know. Regardless, I'm thinking, damn, this feels nice. And my second thought was, is this what women feel, or is this what women have in the US? Because if so, I could understand.
They do. That's unironically how it is. Women have the ability. So it's like we saw a video a while back where it's like men only have access to like a small percentage of women, whereas like women now have access to all men because of the app. That comes with the goods of being able to shoot their shot at somebody who would have been out of their dating league, but also they have access to all the nobodies, right? Like the people like me. So the losers, right? I'm just being mean to myself, but I don't use dating apps. I don't even touch them. I don't download them. I haven't in years, nor will I ever. I've given up on them. But the thing is, it's like you just have access to more people, whereas like men, because we're just dudes, we really don't have access to that many women on there.
Why I met up with some pretty arrogant women in the US that were comfortable lying, that were talking to multiple men at one time. Because, from my perspective in the US, I thought, why would I talk to more than one girl? But now that I think about it, it's because I only had like one girl at a time that was interested in me actively,
But also it's like, it technically, I don't, okay, so I'm gonna push back against him saying this. I don't think it's healthy to do that. Does that make sense? I don't think it's healthy to be talking to multiple people. Like, obviously, if you're not in a relationship officially, then sure, whatever, that's fine. That makes sense. But if you're in a relationship and you're still talking to other people, I just think that's really bad. That's not healthy, because that means you're not showing any indication of commitment. But I don't know what the second point I was going to make. So I already forgot. There's a bunch of things I want to say, but I'm trying to remember.
Talking to me, where maybe a lot of these other girls in the US have like hundreds of messages, especially if they're on like a dating app, having hundreds of messages from really good looking dudes messaging them, and they might like the guy that they're talking to in real life, but at the end of the day, they still have all these other messages coming in from decently good looking dudes.
We found out in one of the videos where it's like, the reason why a lot of these women this is just dating apps. This is not American dating apps. This is not a reflection of all women. I just want to clarify this. On American dating apps, what happens is, what these women, because they have a match with the dude, they then leave that door open no matter what. Does that make sense? So like, if there's a 10, right? Like a 1 out of 10, like a 10, if they match with a 10, even though the 10 may never give her the time of day, never actually care for her, never reply to any of her messages, because they matched, she's going to leave that door open no matter what. And I think that's horrible, but it makes sense from her point of view that she wants to date up. Whereas like men, like it's not fair to say, well, men wouldn't do the same thing, but if men had that opportunity, maybe they would. You know, it's just men don't have that opportunity. But the thing is, it's like, I still overall think that's a bad thing to have. That's not a good habit.
You know, and I had to deal with that here. Sheila's working on the garden or the landscaping. When I met Sheila and I matched with her, this was the first time in my life that I actually had like, 4 or 5 other women actively interested in me, actively messaging me at the same time. As time goes on and I get closer to my trip, the talks with Sheila and I were getting pretty serious. We weren't dating yet, but...
So he hasn't traveled there, but he's already matched with people from other countries. Okay, look, I don't like judging people, but that's kind of... Was he, I don't know, maybe I am a little judgy. I need to stop. But I just feel like that's not a good combination. I feel like you got to visit the country first and then see if you can find love. I think it's kind of, I don't want to recommend that for everybody. Does that make sense? Even though it worked out for him, I don't think it's a good idea for everybody to do that. Right? It's like me trying to find love in a place I've never been before. It's exciting to some extent, but it's very dangerous. You don't know what you're going to get yourself into. It's very risky.
We were at a point where it was like we were so personal with each other and so intimate. It felt wrong to be talking to some of these other people on the internet. There came a point where I had to make a decision. And that decision was to get on the phone with some of these other women and just let them know, hey, there's another girl that I'm talking to. We're not dating, but we're pretty damn serious right now. And I think it's time that I have to stop talking to you. And so at that point, I made the decision to exclusively speak with Sheila. And time rolls on.
Nah, dude, that's so funny. I love Sheila's so funny. I'm a big fan of her now, not in a weird way. But that was so hilarious. She's like, yeah, screw those other women. Yeah. What's up now? She's talking her shit. Look. This is so funny. Yo, shout outs to Sheila. She's so hilarious. That was so funny.
Speak with Sheila. And time rolls on.
Oh my God. She has a sense of humor. I love it. That's so funny. Yeah. Screw those other girls. What's up now? Yeah. Shout outs to Sheila.
I take my trip to the Philippines and Sheila and I set up a meet and we get a hotel together with my
I think that, look, I'm gonna be honest, ladies, you gotta have a sense of humor. Like, it goes a long way. I have a sense of humor. I'm a jokester, but also can get very serious. But having somebody in your life who actually has like knows how to enjoy things, it's just it changes the day. It changes your life for the better. Um, I know I like she made a really funny joke, so I'm laughing and stuff. But I do want to insert this, like, even fellas too, same thing. You guys got to get it. Everybody should have a sense of humor, even if it's a little bit. Just have some sense of ability to laugh.
friend, and then she actually brought me here where I'm staying now, not this property, but maybe about 20 foot yonder, and that's where I met her family for the first time. So the first time I met Sheila was the first time that she introduced me to her family as well, and her niece Titania.
Wow, dang. You know what's crazy? If this was America, I would be saying, "Oh my God, why would you like introduce your family to somebody on the first day?" But if I think about it, America used to be like that. It's actually you're being very transparent in who you are, and I think that I'm very conflicted on that because, like, I feel like it's so heartwarming to see, like, this is who I am, this is my family, this is what you're gonna get. I think we need more of that, but at the same time, I don't know if it's just because it's a different country that I'm like, you got to be careful with that because you don't know what you're gonna get. Like, you're very like, but at the same time, I think there's a sense of romance and to being transparent with who you are. But I do think you got to be careful, obviously, because people might take advantage of you or scam you. I'm not saying that this is happening here. It's definitely not. They seem very happy. But I don't know. Maybe I guess I miss when people were authentic with each other. Maybe that's what it is. Because I think we need more of that in this world. And it's crazy that we're just talking about the Philippines, but I think it is culturally right. Obviously, cultures do play a huge part in that, but I do think the world as a whole needs to be, when it comes to love, romance, people need to be more real with themselves, but also allowed to be real with others. More authentic, I think, because it only benefits us all.
He's the first guy that I introduced to my family.
Yeah, so how lucky am I? So meeting
What? No, dude. She knew. She had to have known that. I guess I didn't see the conversation. I'm not saying I need to see their business, but like maybe their conversations where, like, if you just understand the vibe, like if the vibe's right, like you just know. Maybe she knew the vibe was right and he knew the vibe was right. Like, look at them. They're both smiling. And she obviously has a sense of humor, which is a good thing. So it's like she feels comfortable enough to joke around him. Like, maybe I'm just jealous, because hey, shout outs to Sheila for that. Crazy. She knew what she wanted. It looks like.
Sheila went well. I had a good time here, and after visiting here, I go back to the U.S. and I realize that I've gotten into my comfort zone there. I have had, I think, what you call life inflation. As my pay has gone up, my lifestyle expenses have gone up as well. In my opinion, I was making a lot of money, but it didn't feel like a ton of money because of my expenses and the way that I was living. What I liked about here, and one of the big things I noticed, was a lot of people here that I met made way, way less than me. They had way, way less than me. However, it seemed like everybody, or most everybody, was more content and happier with their lives than I was.
And this is, what's crazy? I get clowned on for saying this, but I'm gonna keep saying it. Money isn't everything. Money is not everything. You don't need a lot of money to be happy. You do need some in any country, regardless of where you are. But when I'm covering Poland, when I'm covering the Philippines, I have consistently said money is not everything. In America, though, it is. Because America, people like to shit on America, sure, but the potential to make a lot of money very, very fast is extremely high in America. But because that potential exists, it's extremely competitive. So everything over here is like, the good is that your potential could be so high financially, but you're constantly in this state of like constant stress, trying to do more, trying to do more. But not everybody should live like that. Does that make sense? I'm saying, and I say this very technical, very listen to what I'm saying. Not everybody should live like that because it's not healthy for us humans, right? Not at one, statistically speaking, it doesn't make any sense. Like most people can't be millionaires. It just doesn't make sense. But even then, it's like when you're a millionaire, you still have your finances become a business and you have to finance that because now if you lose it, not finance that, but you have to manage it. That's a whole different type of responsibility because the thing about being a millionaire, for example, I'm not one, but let's say I've become one. If I lose that money, I lost millions versus what I have now. Does you see what I'm saying? It's actually worse to lose that money than it is to not have it, right? That's what I'm trying to tell you. It only gets harder and harder and harder the more wealthier you become because there's more to lose. So it's just, to me, it's if you want that, you got to understand mentally that that's going to come with a different kind of stress, different kind of lifestyle that you're always going to be stuck in. Whereas, like, if you can find joy right now, regardless of where you are in life, you are more likely to be happy if you gain more money or if you lose more money. Because the thing is, one thing you can't teach anybody is how to be happy, how to find joy. You can't teach anybody that. You just have to figure it out. You can surround yourself around people who know it, and that's how you learn. But on an individual level, we all have to do that. And that is one of the things I'll always consistently say. Just because someone in America has money and they like flaunting around will never mean that they're happier. And it doesn't mean that you'll be happier if you had that money. Always find joy in the times that you have, because when you get more, you'll at least appreciate it. But if you lose that, you will never feel like you lost out. Does that make sense? I'll always die on this hill of money isn't everything.
I was a walking ball of frustration, insecurity. My health was going down the tank. I even had a blood clot at one point. Oof. You know, I wasn't too comfortable in the Philippines because of all the people. I wasn't used to the food, the heat, everything, but I thought that was a problem. I thought that I should be comfortable with that. And why am I not? So I made some changes. I ended up leaving my job eventually and deciding to move here and give it a shot to live here pretty much as long as I can in the Philippines with Sheila. It is May 23, 2025, 2 days away from my 30th birthday, and I'm still living here for now. I don't know how much longer, maybe a year, maybe 2 years, maybe not, I don't know. But I have learned in the past few years to live more in the moment. I still plan for the future, but I'm not as rigid and structured as I was prior. I've let go of a lot of things, a lot of material things, in order so I can learn how to live more in the moment, and Sheila helps me with that. One of the biggest things that I love about her is that she lives in the moment. She is not as concerned with the details of the future as I am. She is more concerned about the here and the now and how we are living in the moment. And that is the balance that I need. I will naturally always think about the future. I'll always be paranoid and worried, but I don't need another person doing that with me.
That is, oh my God, yes. Yes, that's a great way to say that, because if everyone's stressed out, then everyone's going to be more stressed out. And look, I think this is one of the worst qualities about Americans. I'm going to say this as somebody who lives here. No matter how perfect Americans are, like you can find the perfect American husband, perfect American wife. The thing that Americans, God, we do so much is we stress, and there's like we have this like stress gene or something, and then we have this competitive gene. These two things, right? Regardless of who you are, if you are married or dating an American, no matter who they are, they have those two things inside them, the stress and the competitiveness, because that's just what we do in American culture. We compete and we stress. That's why if you look at the American military, it's so huge because we're stressing and we're always competitive. Like it reflects in who we are. And so as long as those two things exist in us, you know, that stress and that competitiveness, they can be for good. They can be for good, right? But they can also be for bad. So I think it's always important that you have somebody who's that can to counteract that, right? That is more in the moment, who's more about let's focus on our families, focus on the things around us rather than things that can come, right? And I think that he hit it nail on the head. That's why I said, hey, sense of humor goes a long way.
And Sheila balances that out. That is the reason I left the USA and came to the Philippines.
Oh, and then of course he puts some food on the screen. Man, I can't wait to go to the Philippines. I'm gonna eat all the food. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm gonna eat all y'all's food. But that burger, hold on, that burger looked really good. Dang, dude, look at that. Oh my god, stop it. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you disagree? Do you agree? Do you think love is possible for anyone? Let me know. Love you guys. Check you out on the next one. Bye-bye. This video is brought to you actually by viewers like you. Thank you so much for subscribing and being part of my journey and allowing me to be a part of yours. Let's create new memories this 2025 on our road to 1 million subscribers. And with all that jazz out of the way, I just want to say thank you so much. I love y'all and enjoy the video.